In this video, I want to look at how to use transpose and then remove duplicates. So it's two things we're going to do. The first, transpose, essentially what it means is we're going to copy and we're going to paste using transpose. And that changes vertical to horizontal or horizontal to vertical text. So for example, you'll see I've got this list of names here. Now what happens when you pull stuff from iNow is it'll give you a line, in other words, a record for every single student, but it'll also give you one based because of the teacher for every one. So for example, Justin Adams would not have just two records for first and second period, but he would literally have one record for every single teacher. So that could be 8 or 9 depending on semester. So you could have a lot of entries here. What we want to do, of course, is just have one record with all his classes listed out along the row as opposed to each column. So to do that, what we can do is copy, and then we can come over here to first period and we can paste, and we'll use transpose right here, and you'll see what that does. It takes this row, this column of information, turns it into this row that we want. And so we could do this for each one. So we could copy and then transpose like that. Now we can't do them all at once, because if we did them all at once, then it would just take all the data and push it all the way across. So it is something in this case that we would have to do for each student that we were doing this with. But you can see how this would work as this pushes it across for us. So that's how you transpose. And at the same time, of course, you could copy and transpose the other direction, and it'll move them back into the single column. With that transpose, it's really helpful when you're looking, when you have multiple records. One of the best things to do then, we could filter by name and then just copy all at once and push them out there. So there's a couple different ways we could do this. But once we have it done like this and we have all the names out there, then that allows us to then filter, of course, and just to basically go in and we could say all we wanted to do is see all the students who were in Smith, or these different classes right here. We did something similar with this by putting their emails at the end of it, and then that allowed us to basically filter by teacher and class period, and we were able to pull an email list of all those students in that very specific area. Now the next thing is just to remove the duplicates. All we have to do is click up here at last name, and then go to this data tab here, and you'll see this one here in the middle, remove duplicates. Now the thing about this is we want to go through here and make sure the box for my data has headers, and then we're going to uncheck the columns that we don't want to involve in this duplication. So in this case, it's just last name and first name. So what we want to do here is ensure that when we do this, we end up with one record for each student as opposed to multiple. So when we click OK, you'll see it gives us 19 duplicate values were found and removed, and 19 remain. So now here's our information. So what it does is it take out that extra row, and now it gives us the single row that we wanted earlier. So if we undo that real quick, you'll see here's all those names again. And so we go remove, and we'll uncheck the ones we don't want to involve, and click OK, and then it pulls all the unique records out, which leaves us just with this last name and first name, and gives us the individual records. So one of the ways we could test is if we want to go in here, we can insert, so we'll do the last name Adams, but then we'll do a different first name. So same thing if we go over here. So no duplicate values were found, and that's because it's counting this plus this. So this is why we want to do first and last name. If we have two students with the same first and last name, which is probably inevitable, we may even have to go to the middle initial for a time being. But that allows us to then ensure that we have each individual record as its own record and not a duplicate. So by doing it this way, you can see that it kept, even though we have two last names of Adams, because we included the first name, it kept both. So this allows us to go in and then duplicate out and get rid of all the duplicates in a list that will run on a query. And that's something you're often going to see when you start running queries out of iNow or any other program for that matter.